Welcome once again to another edition of The Schmidt Show here on News Radio 1029 KARN. I am your host, Brad Schmidt. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. If you're watching us over on Twitter, or if you are watching us on our YouTube channel or on our website, we are glad you're here as well. We have been, for the last, couple of weeks or so, we've been broadcasting the first few minutes, the opening segment of the Schmidt Show, and so we're glad to share some of that with you. And if after you see what we're going to talk about, and you want to join that discussion, be a part of the show, see what it is that we actually do get into in the details of those stories, you'll have to join us on the regular broadcast. Of course, you can do that at News Radio 1029 FM, or you can do it at our website as well. Just click on the Listen Live link, or simply download the app. And we've gotten some numbers about those of you who are listening on the various streams on the internet. And it's quite promising. There are a lot of you that are listening in through the various methods, not just the classic radio broadcast. So we're glad you're here and sharing your afternoon with us. And hopefully we are providing you not only with information and great commentary on the news of the day, but we also hope that we are on some levels providing you some entertainment as well to make your day go a little bit faster while you're at work or whatever it is that you've got going on. So the phone number, if you do want to join the show today, is 501-403-KRN, 501-403-5276. If you happen to be from Bossier City, or even potentially Lafayette. But we do have a bit to get into, a lot to talk about. Of course, yesterday was the eclipse, and that kind of ruled the day. That's about all anyone was talking about. But there were some other things going on. Of course, Donald Trump made a statement on the issue of abortion. It was either this weekend or earlier yesterday. He put out a statement on his views on abortion as a presidential candidate. And we'll get into that because I think he made some good points, but I think he also highlighted the hypocrisy of so many in the political realm when talking about this on both sides of the aisle. Political hypocrisy of Republicans and Democrats alike, and even a little bit of his own. And I want to be careful saying that because I'm not saying that his statement was hypocritical, but it does kind of illustrate what we see with the issue of abortion and how it generally proves most politicians and even most non-politicians to be just generally inconsistent on a lot of issues, not just the issue of abortion, but issues like education and healthcare and the literal hundreds of federal agencies that really shouldn't even exist in the first place. So we'll get into that. We'll talk a little bit about his statement and get some of your thoughts on that. This lectern story. So a week ago or whatever, this draft report that was put together by the state auditor said it was done and ready to go, and the Sanders administration said that they needed some time to respond to what was in the report. We still haven't heard anything, but the crowd over on Twitter, the leftists in Arkansas are absolutely losing their minds over this lectern and the fact that this $19,000 lectern that was eventually paid for by the Republican Party is some sort of great scandal that has proven Sarah Sanders to be, the literal sister of Satan himself. And it's so bizarre, the obsession about this. And I'll be honest, I don't really care all that much about this lectern. I was asked about this over the weekend, and I think there's more to this lectern story than we're aware of, but not in such a way that really warrants a whole lot of time and effort put into this discussion. I just don't see why there is so much rage and hatred and anger and angst about this lectern. My response to the individual that asked me on X over the weekend was that I think there's more to it than we're aware. But I also feel like there's a lot more important things to deal with, and all the hype is mostly just grasping at straws by the people who hate Sarah Sanders, no matter what she does. So, yeah, I mean, I think it was problematic the way it was handled. But in the big picture, it's quite honestly, it's probably a giant nothing burger. And it's part of just how politics works. There's things that I have heard from folks that are a little bit closer to this situation that I haven't been able to verify with any sort of certainty, so I've avoided revealing them on the air because it's some speculation and some he said, she said. But there probably is more to this story than just paying $19,000 for a lectern, because the lectern itself is not that expensive. And the person that they purchased it from has other connections to other people, and there's certainly some political swampiness that goes along with this. But I'm just not as worried about this as many people are. But I would like to hear your thoughts. I would like to hear do you think this is a big deal? Do you think this indicates that Sarah Sanders is somehow corrupt or is somehow proving to be, a bad governor or something like that? Because I'm going to be honest, if $19,000 is the amount that breaks the camel's back, why is no one caring about the potential hundreds of thousands of dollars in corruption and maybe even more than that has been undertaken by our illustrious sheriff here in Pulaski County? No one seems to care about the turnkey medical, the multi-million-dollar contract that was signed under what appears to be, at least on the very surface, appears to be some sketchy circumstances. Now, I don't have direct proof that it was, but boy, it sure seems like it at least needs an investigation, at least needs some people looking into it. You've got the sheriff of Pulaski County signing contracts with medical providers for the jail without approval of the quorum court. And the thing we're worried about is some stupid TV show that's going to air on Netflix. But on top of that, the multi-$1,000 check that was written to Sheriff Higgins through this Lucky 8 production that just suddenly showed up in the last couple of weeks when people started asking questions about it. But the other checks that were written by Lucky 8 production were cut over a year ago. We're supposed to believe that they just forgot about the $50,000 or $60,000 that they sent or were supposed to send, and that Eric Higgins just forgot that check hadn't come in yet? Nobody's even talking about that, and it's 3 times the amount of this stupid lectern. Nobody's even talking about it. Nobody's even discussing it. And it looks like, from what I can tell, it looks like the one investigation that is being done that's looking into it is going to be done with the, how do I say this and still not be kind? They're gonna do it in a halfway. There's the effort that probably should be put into it is not going to be put into it. The investigation that's being done is looking already as if it's going to be, well, yeah, we tried, but we didn't really find anything because we don't really care and we're lazy. And, Sheriff Higgins is a Democrat and he's black and we don't want to be seen as racist. So we're just going to let this one slide. And the corruption will continue, which is, again, why I have set up an email account for anyone within the sheriff's department willing to share or give out any type of whistleblower information exposing any of this corruption. The email is arcorruption@proton.me. Feel free to send me anything, and not just the sheriff's department, but any government corruption. And I don't care if it's Republicans, Democrats, or anyone in between. I'm so sick and tired of these lifelong career politicians getting away with this over and over and over again, as we all turn and look the other way. And then we get all wound up about this stupid lectern as if it's a big deal, completely ignoring the rest of the corruption. The fact that Alonzo Giles is still sitting on the Arkansas Board of Corrections, and we're worried about a $19,000 lectern. This man officiated a forced wedding at a correctional facility for teenagers and is alleged to have covered up or hidden years, decades of sexual abuse by the individuals who ran that facility. And we're worried about a stupid lectern? There's more. I got a whole lot more to get to. I get a little wound up, a little excited. We got more to talk about on the Schmidt Show today. But if you want to talk about any of that and you're following us over on Twitter or on YouTube or on our website through the video, you're going to have to follow us over to the broadcast as we continue with the Schmidt Show next on News Radio 102.9 KARN and the KARN app.